BoomTube welcomes you to the Thursday Night Nitro Series here in Thunder Valley tonight at the fabled Bristol Motor Speedway, the half-mile of mayhem, where drivers tonight will put on a Thursday night fight. It's one of the races we look forward to all year, and definitely should put on a fantastic show for us this evening. Drivers just now wrapping up qualifying here on the half-mile high banks. And we'll get you those results up in just a moment. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the aftermath of last week at New Hampshire. Once again, it was Bennett Allen capturing the checkered flag for a second week this season. We'll see if anyone's got something for him tonight at Bristol. Looking at the right side of your screen, well, we'll try to get this up the proper way. Missing some things here. There we go. Taking a look at the standings, we got a new driver on the top of the heap. That's Kyle Nadeau, having taken over that championship lead from Max Baumann just shy of halfway through the season here for race number 5. Points differential, only 3 points right now. We'll see if that lead can hang on through the mayhem that happens tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Bennett Allen, after 2 victories so far this season, climbing his way up through the standings rapidly. He's sitting in third, just 9 points out of that lead position, with Dusty Martin fourth, 11 points back. Doug Argabright rounding out the top 5 in the point standings as we enter this round number 5 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Got to put a big shout out to our sponsor for tonight's race, the Sugar Maple Designs 250 here at Bristol. That is a home renovation company owned and operated by our own Devin Gentry, driver of the number 12 Sugar Maple Designs Ford F-150. We'll be looking for Devin to have a strong showing tonight, but he will be the sponsor of tonight's race and sponsor of the prizes and everything contained therein. So, prestigious race, prestigious sponsor for us. Very happy for all he does for us. If you'd like to check out his website and some of the things he has available for offer in the operating primarily out of the north central Indiana area, go ahead and check out that website up on the top right of your screen, sugarmapleservices.com, for more information. Drivers just completing warm-up laps post-qualifying. We'll go ahead and show you those qualifying results. Turn your attention to your screen. Kyle Nadeau takes the pole here at Bristol, so he's on track to possibly defend that lead and stretch it out a little bit this evening. We got Bennett Allen second in qualifying with 14.957, and Devin Gentry only 2 1,000ths off that lap time with the 14.959. So 2 Fords chasing the Chevy of Kyle Nadeau tonight here at Bristol. So it's Nadeau, Allen, Gentry, followed by Dusty Martin in 4th, Kyle Bolton in 5th. He's going to be back after a 1-week hiatus last week at New Hampshire. Number 00 will be back on track tonight. Max Baumann is going to roll on the grid, P6, with Bradley Murphy in the 18, P7. Alex Finney in the 80, P8. Zach Miller in the 38 will roll off P9. And Jake Doffing rounds out the top 10 of the starting order tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's going to be a tough race for these drivers. I've seen a few of these drivers putting in a good bit of practice throughout the past couple of days leading into this event. And getting ready because it's a new aerodynamics model for these race trucks this season, as iRacing has made changes to the physics modeling of these trucks, so drivers coming to grips with that, and it'll be a bit of a surprise for us here on broadcast as well, where that track is going to evolve throughout the evening Will it be a bottom dominant track like the Bristol of old, or will the line migrate upwards to be high line dominant throughout the afternoon? We'll see, but we've seen quite a few drivers already in the fence. Seems like loose is going to be a very prevalent condition for everybody here tonight. That'll be something to watch out for, and caution flags will be something to watch out for as well. And before we get rolling, we're going to go ahead and take a look, a bit of a preview of the next few races and what to expect coming up. It's going to be a very much a departure from what we've been doing. The first 5 races of the season, we've progressively gotten shorter and shorter tracks to drive on, starting out at Daytona, ending up at Michigan, New Hampshire, and now we're here at Bristol Motor Speedway for race number 5. So track size going down, but next week we will have something different altogether. So next week, March 26th, will be Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. It's a slightly larger racetrack. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack, but not like most tracks. It drives very much like a drafting track, like a Daytona or a Talladega, or kind of what we saw with the racing at Michigan back on the 5th. Next week is a lot tighter quarters, though. It's a smaller, narrower racetrack overall, so these drivers are going to have to do everything in their power to stay off each other and just make it to the end of the race, because it's very close quarters, very high speed. They will be almost flat out the entire time, but on a much smaller speedway than we would see at the likes of Daytona and Talladega. So should be a lot of fun next week in Atlanta at Echo Park Speedway for that race. Hope to see you there March 26th, right here, same time, same place on BoomTube, 9 p.m. Eastern time. As always, drivers getting gridded up and ready to take the green flag here for this evening. We're ready to get the show on the road. As always, I'm Adam LeVox here to bring you the live action from the BoomTube here in Thunder Valley. And we're hoping to put on a great show for you here tonight. Good to see the people out in YouTube land. We got Roy and Becky's Travels saying, let's go Devin number 12. Tater73, Devin, you got to make up for last week. Get her done. Well, so far he's poised to do so. Rolling off P3. He's got good track position. Let's see what he can do with it. Will be Kyle Nadeau in that blue number 97 down to the inside lane, leading them to the green flag tonight. We'll go ahead and run down the top 10 in our grid as we prepare to go live or go green. All right, Kyle Nadeau, of course, starting inside row number 1 with Bennett Allen to his outside. Row number 2 sees Devin Gentry rolling off P3 with Dusty Martin in the number 35, flanking the number 12. The next row, it'll be Connell Bolton and Max Baumann, 00 and 89, rolling off P5 and P6 for tonight. P7, row number 4 is Bradley Murphy with Alex Finney in the number 80 Waffle Motorsports Ram 1500 to his outside. Finally, row number 5, P9 will be Zach Miller with Jake Doffing in the number 13 Firestone Walker Brewing F-150. that is how they roll off throughout the top 10 tonight. We'll be looking for a fantastic race and probably a very eventful race. Drivers will be hard-pressed to make it to the end. We'll see what they can do. Can they survive the last great Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway? Pace truck pulls down onto pit lane. We get ready to go racing at Bristol. Green flag in the air. Great start for Allen on the outside. Doesn't let Nadeau get away whatsoever. They're still side by side out of 2 as Allen has a major moment. Great save there by driver number 15. Battle now is on for second place, currently held by Gentry, but Allen's looking to make a comeback on the outside. 2 abreast all throughout the top 10. Drivers slip sliding all over the place. We see some contact by Finney with the outside wall in the mid pack, and we got a sliding driver in Zach Miller on the inside and off on the apron as well. He's going to get it gathered up and rolling once again, but that's going to cost him some track position here early. Donald Bolton with trouble, still wrecking off of turn 4 as we have our first caution of the evening for what I can only assume is several different issues throughout the field. We got Max Bauman backwards on top of that corner. Looks like no serious damage to the 89. Looks like the 00 clipped the side just a little bit as it came by, but shouldn't be anything too major for Max, and should be able to get that thing back up and running. It's still competitive here tonight. Go ahead and take a look back at the moment of caution and see if we can figure out what happened. Let's see. Keeping an eye on the number 89 right here on your screen. Did he have some help? No, just snap loose on entry, as we've seen from so many other drivers. Looked to catch it, tagged the back end of the 13. Looks like the 13 got by without too much damage to the truck. Scraped the right rear a little bit, but no hard impact for either driver. It was a mad scramble to get around the parked truck of Bauman afterwards. That was probably more treacherous than the actual contact itself. You see 00 carrying high speed through that corner. So that was our first caution of the afternoon. I mentioned it was going to be a Thursday night fight. So far, it's been more fighting the track than each other. Drivers struggling just to hang on to these very, very loose trucks. In what seems to be a pretty massive departure from what we've traditionally seen out of the iRacing Handley model for these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series vehicles. We do apologize. There are some streaming issues, some internet issues going on, so you may see some buffering and slowness in the broadcast. Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot we can do about that, being at the mercy of the internet provider and the speeds that they offer. A little bit on the slow side tonight, so we do apologize for that. Green flag back in the air here, lap number 9. Kyle Nadeau out to a clean gap in front. It's Bennett Allen and Devin Gentry going for second. Allen gets by for the spot. It's going to be Gentry back in third place. He's got a little bit of pressure coming from the 35, as we see a little farther back in the field. Big stack up. Looks like maybe the 88. getting a little bit loose, stacking up the mid-pack just a little bit. Everyone collects it and keeps going, though. It's a battle up front. Now half a car length separating Nadeau and Allen. Allen is there looking for a nose to the inside. He's got to be careful in doing so. We've seen how loose these race trucks get on corner entry. Nadeau taking a semi-defensive line, being sure to block just enough of the bottom that Allen doesn't want to try to make that move, but just high enough to get the run off the corner. Gap now stretches back out to half a car length, to a full car length off the corner last time. Allen now closing in through 3 and 4 and across the front stretch. Dusty Martin in P3, he takes over that spot. A little bit of an issue there for Gentry in the 12. He'll drop back 2. It'll be Martin moving up to P3 with a really good restart that time around. We'll also capture the fastest lap of the race so far with a 15.13. So number 35 currently holding the fastest lap time here at Bristol. That's 1 bonus point if you can manage to hang on to it throughout the night. Yellow flag number 2 flies. And we'll get with you in just a moment on what caused that, because on our timing and scoring, we're not quite seeing a definitive cause. Go ahead and pop back in time just a little bit here. We're hearing that the 13 may have had something to do with the last caution. And I think we see it right there. Watch about midway through the corner. See the same condition we've seen with a lot of drivers. A little bit over the bumps, and the rear end comes around. Tags the 38. But I think the off-track condition there for the 13 brought out the iRacing caution. Even though he was able to gather it up. Plenty of contact so far, but everyone doing a fantastic job of keeping the trucks pointed in the right direction for the most part, and keeping it gathered up, not causing themselves or others too much damage. First rounds of pit stops completed for some of these drivers. It's like about the bottom 8 on the field came in this time. Maybe top off on fuel. Green flag in the air once again. Another clean start out of Nadeau to hang on to that lead. Bennett Allen not letting him get quite as far away this time. He's got a nose looking to the inside. Doesn't quite have the position to send it this time. Great run off of turn 4, but still doesn't have the space. Little bit of a move up the track there for Nadeau. That might give Bennett the opening he's looking for. Just clear by inches that time. Allen solidly with a nose inside this time, down into 3. Bennett Allen to the inside, Nadeau to the outside. Still side by side on the opposite end, coming to the stripe. It's going to be Kyle Nadeau hanging on to lead one more lap, but how long can he hang there? Not only is Bennett positioned to the inside, we got the 35 starting to encroach on that lead as well. He'll be a part of the picture in just a moment. Dusty Martin coming up from about 5th place, gained a couple spots on the last restart. Now he's here to crash the party for the 2 leaders. Single file first through 5th. Great pickup by Bradley Murphy so far, up 3 spots since the beginning of the race and a very limited number of green flag laps. But he's positioning that number 18 nicely. Now we see Bennett Allen starting to hunt around for speed on the racetrack. He took a wide exit last time. Will he put the bumper to Kyle this time? Almost, not quite there though. Definitely trying to take any air he can off the rear spoiler of that number 97 Chevrolet though. Down to the bottom there, nose to tail. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Bennett Allen as he tries overtaking Kyle Nadeau. Third caution flag will fly tonight here on lap number 26. We'll try to get a view of just who was involved. It's like maybe Brendan Odell in the 16. We see some front damage and a little bit of left rear damage on that number 16 Toyota. We'll see if we can't figure out just what was the cause of the contact. It's like trouble started early for Odell. Down into the corner, just got a piece of the wall. Was able to pull it off, but then gets tagged by the 39 as he puts a little too much left wheel and pops it off the wall a little bit too hard. Unfortunately, just nowhere for Buckingham to go to avoid that. Probably was not expecting him to come down off the wall that hard, but very hard to pull the cars off the wall. Sometimes here at Bristol Motor Speedway, it can be like there's a suction cup or a vacuum up by the wall, just keeping that car pinned up there, and a lot of centrifugal force as well on the corners. That gravity's kind of doing its work, keeping you pinned against the outside wall, and once you finally break free, it kind of does it in dramatic fashion. I think we saw just a little bit of that here. Rolling under caution for the 3rd time so far. We'll see if we got any more pit lane takers here on lap number 29. So far, no one making any moves outside the top 15. 16th on back. We got a few more takers on pit lane. See Alex Finney, Jake Dolphin, Odell, of course, to fix some of that damage. Kenny Reel, Paul Turner all came down last time by on lap number 28. Big movers so far in the race. Go ahead and look at Terry Silvers. The number 69 has been doing fantastic so far. He's up 11 spots since the drop of the green flag. Similarly, 30, who was tagged in an earlier caution by Max Bauman, is also up 11 spots on the race so far. So great going, great driving out of those two so far. But we resume the battle as the green flag waves for the lead. Nadeau once again gets clear of Allen. Allen's going to take the wide line this time, not letting him block the high side. Can he get there? He does. A nose outside for the 15 as the green flag flies. Still nose to nose through the lap, but it's momentum on the 15 side, but I believe Nadeau still leads as the caution flag flies. We'll have to see what the timing and scoring says. It was very close at the time of the caution. We'll see what the iRacing timing and scoring software has to say on the matter. Looks like so far the 97 will retain that lead by just inches over the 15. And it looks like trouble for the 13. Back riding with Jake Dolphing. It looks like Dolphing and Buckingham both with issues. These two cars right here on your screen. We'll go ahead and take a look at what happened to them. It's like Dolphin comes down, trying to avoid the 5. He's a little bit slow on the outside. Takes it 3 wide on exit of the corner, which can be very treacherous at Bristol. Looks like a little bit of a loose condition. No, it looks like Dalton Buckingham might have come up just a little bit to cause that one. Probably heard a 2 wide call and assumed he had a little more room to slide up, which just hadn't happened yet. And the front end of that 13, pretty beat up, as is the 39. We'll see if they're able to continue tonight. That'll depend on whether or not the steering on those trucks is too badly bent up. So caution number 4 flies here on lap number 32, now rolling through lap 35 behind the iRacing pace truck. It's been an eventful evening so far. Thankfully, pretty uneventful for your top 5. Outside a few little things here and there, looks like Patrick Coro actually is moving up a good bit too. He's up 9 spots, was able to snag that 5th position away from Devin Gentry just before the caution flag flew. So he's up to P5 as it stands right now. Yeah, everybody trying to keep some heat in those tires. When trucks are as loose as they are tonight, you definitely want to keep all the heat you possibly can in these Goodyear tires under caution. You don't want to have cold tires on the restart. You want to be able to push as hard as possible without breaking loose. Base truck's going to peel off. We're going to go green one more time here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lap number 37. It's Nadeau lead him to the green flag. Great start by Nadeau, but look at the center corner speed out of the 15. Erased half a car length advantage in the middle of the corner. Unable to get there, though, before the caution flag flies once again. Taking a look back at the cause of the caution, which still seems to be going on. All right, looks like issue happened somewhere in this vicinity. You see Zach Miller involved and Corey Nesbitt as well. Unfortunately, Nesbitt not showing up on the track. Wonder if this maybe had something to do with network issues. You see Nesbitt disappear there for just a second. I'll go ahead and highlight that for you. Actually, he only appeared for a second. Keep an eye on this race truck right here, having some network connection issues, it would seem. And we'll see if that had anything to do with this caution flag. It does not. We've got Patrick Coro backing up onto the racetrack, so we'll go ahead and focus on Coro. We had just mentioned he had gotten inside the top 5. Unfortunately, causes absolute calamity for the rear of the field. Trucks crashing well after the time of caution. Both THR drivers involved. It looks like the 30 truck of Cody Schultz ends up on his roof and then on top of another car after getting back down. Absolute pandemonium back in the rear of the field. We're going to rewind that just a little bit more, see if we can figure out exactly what happened with Coro before backing up into the field here. Looks like maybe just got, no, I think you might have got a little help. Keep an eye on this gap right here between these two drivers. I believe we're going to see the 69 come to the outside and just not have enough space and end up with a little bit of contact. We'll go ahead and play it in slow-mo and see what happens. The Coro goes up for the block just a little bit late. And then just unable to hang on to it. Gets sent for a ride down into the corner. With the way Bristol is, you're going to head right back to the outside. Just nowhere for anybody to go at that kind of speed. Everybody's committed to the throttle at that point. So, unfortunate turn of events. For a driver who had been running inside the top 5, just a slight bit of contact kicked off the whole thing. Back under green in the front, it's Nadeau and Bennett Allen still going at it for the lead. Apologize for the lapse in coverage. These caution flags go by very quickly at Bristol, especially trying to dissect complicated caution events such as that one. Figure out just who was where and when to kick the whole thing off. It's like Nadeau has pretty good speed. We see great entry speed and center roll out of the 15, but Nadeau's just got enough drive off of the corner that it's hard for Allen to make any kind of headway or get the nose inside. We see a little bit of bumper coming off the corner this time. He did not want to get off the throttle and cost himself the exit speed, which is what he's kind of been struggling with. We see a higher line out of him that time. He does get the nose to the inside now through 1 and 2. Allen to the bottom, Nadeau trying to hang on the top side. We'll see if someone is finally able to wrestle that lead away from Nadeau. At the line, it is still Nadeau by inches. I believe Allen has a chance to clear, but a great run out of Nadeau off of turn 2. Slower entry. You see Allen trying to be careful not to make any contact with the 97. He doesn't want to be the cause of the next caution. Very, very hard to pass at Bristol. You see all kinds of searching, top lane, low lane, out of the 15 truck, trying to find a way around what must seem like a dually heavy-duty truck in the 97, because that thing is wide. Able to get within a couple feet, but just unable to quite clear. 39, Dalton Buckingham on the high side. They're going to clear him without issue. See, maybe a little bit of bumper coming off the corner again to the back of the 97. We'll take another ride along, this time from the view of Nadeau. As he tries to hold off the hard-charging number 15. Almost a little shot again from the 15 coming out of turn 4 that time. He's getting there. He just has nowhere to go with the momentum. Shows you just what it's going to take to make a pass happen here at Bristol for the race win. I think you're going to have to move somebody out of the way a little bit. Taking a bit, well, we're going to take a look a little bit further through the field. But we see, once again, caution flag out here on lap number 56. It's like the 89 of Max Baumann involved. 9 to 89 to the inside of your screen. Big momentum out of the 5. Oh, looks like the 5 got loose. Just had to chase it down the racetrack. Got into the door of the 89. And unfortunately, Max Baumann just along for the ride at that point. See a little bit of a pop out of the right front suspension after that contact. We'll be interested in seeing if that is severe damage to that 89 or if it might have just been a bit of a network issue causing us to see that. We'll see what he's got going. If he's able to get that truck rolling again. It'll be hard to do here on the high banks. Back end of the truck just wants to slide down the racetrack because we see him having struggles getting it the right way around, especially with all the traffic. You see some pretty heavy right front damage to that truck. I think you'll probably have to come in for repairs at some point. It does look like it is steering mostly correctly. Maybe a little bit of a right toe knocked out to the right on the right front there, but should be able to continue nonetheless. Leaders finally coming in for pit stops here on laps number 59 and 60. As we cycle through, we've got 2 cars staying out on this run. That'll be Kenny Reel and the 33 of Greg Burchett now on your screen. It's like first car. Sorry, Patrick Coro also staying out. He last pit on lap 39. Possibly unintentionally as part of that spin. So Tanner Witt's going to be the first car on fresh Goodyear Eagles. Came down on lap 59, followed by Miller in the 38, Jensen in the 29. Haven't really heard from him at all this evening, but he's found his way inside the top 5 for the moment. But we're getting ready to go green flag racing here. It's going to be Burchett leading them to the lead, to the green. Burchett clears. It's Reel and Coro for a second. Back behind them, it is a dogfight as the former leaders trying to work their way past the traffic ahead. Nadeau's got the headway over the rest of the field. Allen buried deep in the standings, all the way back in 15th. Nadeau looking to work that outside. He's on the outside of Jensen in the 29 now, able to clear. Now outside of Witt, coming off of turn 2. Got that 97 working nicely on that high lane. Just absolutely mowing down the first part of the field. Past Coro, now it's Kenny Reel for the lead in the number 8. Reel going a little bit defensive, taking that high lane, chopping down. Now Coro punts the 97, just makes a little bit of contact off of 2. Somehow no caution flag. this battle for second position. Bradley Murphy has it. Dusty Martin wants it. Martin able to get to the inside just a couple times. That high lane rolls the exits so well, it's hard to maintain that momentum coming off the corner. Once again, gets a nose to the inside. 18 rolling that momentum on the high side. He's holding on to the second spot for now as Gentry continues to stretch the lead. Now on to 1.5 seconds. Just behind them, Terry Silvers has caught the 29 of Dan Jensen for the fourth spot. Also a bit of lane hunting between these two drivers, trying to play a little bit of mind games. Searching high, searching low, looking for where that momentum is going to allow them to make the pass. So far, very hard to do on either the high or low side, as we see every time someone needs to make a pass up toward the front of this field. They seem to need to search for a few laps before they're finally able to make a solid move. Silver's still half a car length back, trying to get the nose alongside. Hasn't been able to make it happen just yet. He'll get the nose there, but Jensen's been rolling the center of the corner pretty well. Now he's got lap traffic on the outside. 3 wide through the corner as we see Burchett getting the fence on the outside, trying to keep it away from these two drivers. Burchett currently running 13th, so 12 cars remain on the lead lap. Nadeau has reclaimed a spot on the lead lap by passing your leader. Up front, you see Gentry just behind. So Kyle's definitely needing to keep his foot down to maintain his position on the lead lap for now. Gentry has found a lot of speed here on this long run, and he is not letting the 97 go that easy. Crank Bell looking good in a new coat of paint in that number 14, switching manufacturers as well. He's gone with the Dodge Ram with a pretty nice looking metallic SRT livery on that race truck. Taking a look back at this battle, Silver's finally able to make the pass for that fourth spot. Now he's got his sights on Dusty Martin in the third. A lot of long run speed out of the 69 machine. That's what we've seen so far. Able to pick his way by. Maybe not the quickest at making the passes, but able to get there, not taking any unnecessary risks as we see Jensen trying to work his way back to the inside. As Silvers gets held up by the 35, he knows he's got the faster race truck. It's just a matter of finding a way to get the position. He doesn't want to send it in there and make a dive. That could result in them both wrecking, so trying to pick and choose where he's going to try to make that pass. Thought he saw an opportunity there on the exit of the corner. Door got shut there by Martin in the 35. Now he's got the 39, another lap car to deal with on that outside lane. Has to run a little bit tighter that time. Gets a little bit of the outside catch fence. Still holding strong in fourth position for now. Finally able to get position. It's Silvers to the outside. Looks like Martin's going to let him have it now. I think both of them are really wearing out their equipment as we see Martin backing up even further, now under fire from Jensen for the last spot in the top 5. It looks like Martin really struggling to put the power back down on exit, indicating maybe he's got a little bit of a worn out right front. Pushing just a little bit too hard on that bottom lane. Be waiting, finally able to get in the gas. Taking a look back, Witt continues his march forward up in P8, looking for P7 from Kenny Reel. Reel's defending on that outside, trying to keep the position. Witt's going to make short work of him with a pass to the inside on fresher rubber. Real still hanging on pretty decently inside the top 10 for having roughly 32 lap older tires and the rest of the cars around him. Creeping up on the halfway point of tonight's event. Lap number 105 is what we're about to cross. Caution number 7 flies on this lap, this time for Alex Finney. That'll be the number 80. We'll have to go back and see if we can track down what happened to Mr. Finney. Here to bring out our 7th caution of the evening. Taking a look here off of turn 2, down into turn 3. Maybe a self-spin. It's a little bit too hard on entry. Oh, no. Almost had it saved. Slight overcorrection and just, unfortunately, knocks down that outside wall with the right front of that truck. Looks like we had a little bit of an incident there. Dusty Martin going to collect some left front damage out of that as well. Wasn't really anything he could do with the speed he was carrying through the corners. Something a little bit unique about Bristol Motor Speedway for these drivers. It's very hard to see wrecks happening in front of you, as the banking is so high, you're almost looking out of the top of your windshield rather than to the left. You think, well, they're turning left, so they look out the left side of the windshield to see what's coming up, right? No, you kind of look up. You know, as you're trying to look at the sky if you were on a normal car on flat ground. Drivers cycling through 4 pit stops. Looks like Jens is going to gamble. He's going to stay out. He last came in lap number 59. Currently rolling through lap number 107. Now the driver trying to stretch those Goodyear tires. They have 3 spare sets to use for the endurance of tonight's race. And look who showed back up in the top 5. Well, maybe not the top 5. Timing scoring seems to still be catching up with the position changes through the cycle of pit stops. So he only took maybe just fuel on this run. Waiting to get sorted out in the running order as everyone's trying to catch up to the pace car and get in the correct running order. It'll be Dan Jensen, who stayed out on old tires. Devin Gentry, of course. Sorry about that. Just taking a look back at timing scoring was saying there was a wreck there, but we're not seeing it. Getting ready to go green. Once again, after our 7th caution of the evening, we should go green on lap number 109. Dan Jensen leads him to the green on the inside lane. Side by side, those old Goodyears not working too great. They're allowing Gentry to keep up on the outside. Gentry's going to clear through the first set of corners on the restart. Number 12 back out front. Now it's a stack up for this second spot. Allen pinned behind the 29. He's going to send it to the inside. There was an opening. That shuffles the 29 to the outside lane. Unfortunately, nowhere for the 18 of Murphy to go. As the 29 gets shuffled through the order. Oh, almost a bit of contact there. 29 just being a roadblock on those old tires. Murphy ends up being the big loser on this, though. Unable to get down underneath the 29 to make the pass. Has the fresh tires, has the pace, but unfortunately loses 3 spots in the process. Real in the 8th, now up to 4th until that moment. He hangs on to it. That right rear tire is not going to thank him for that, though. Move Real back to P8. Kyle Nadeau now up to P7. He's going to work on Jensen for the 6th spot. So Kyle Nadeau, after going lap down a short while ago, able to race his way back onto the lead lap. Now back inside the top 10, looking at a top 5 position. Sights now set on Tanner Witt in the 88. Big entry slide for the 88. Unfortunately, gonna collect a couple cars behind. Just gets massively loose on entry. See the back end kick around. They're still piling into the wreck well after the caution. Entire backstretch is blocked. As we see several cars involved, that to include Witt. Doesn't look like the damage might be too serious to that truck. We'll have to see if he's able to get that left rear repaired. Possibly just aero damage. The thing about Bristol is really you can still be fairly competitive without having a perfect race truck. A little bit of body damage really isn't going to hurt you too much. It'll add up over the long run, as it'll make you work your tires just a little bit, missing a little bit of that downforce, but they're still mostly a mechanical track that likes mechanical grip due to the low speeds. The tires and the suspension doing most of the work instead of the air creating that downforce. Real with some pretty heavy right front damage. He'll come in for pit service here on lap number 118 as well. Easily with front end damage. Several other drivers just going to come in for 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Looks like Crank Bell going to take advantage of this caution to do just that. Out front, number 12 still leads the way, but now he's got his teammate in the 15 to hold off, which will be a little bit more interesting than the last couple restarts where he's been battling drivers on old tires. How about Terry Silvers starting in the rear of the field? Started 21st, currently running in 3rd in that number 69 Chevrolet. So great day so far for Terry. Probably hoping for another long run after this streak of cautions to really flex the speed that 69 has had tonight. Drivers getting back in order as we get set to take the green flag after our 8th caution of the evening. We told you it was going to be an eventful night here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and that it has been. Bristol has not disappointed, and it's been great racing up front the whole night. Fantastic battling out of Nadeau and Allen early. Now we get to see the teammates of the 12 and the 15 go at it here for this restart. Pace truck pulls off. We're green flag racing again. Gentry with a great start. Holds off his teammate for now. Both of them separate from 3rd and 4th. That's Silvers and Murphy by about 5 truck lengths. Murphy looking to have a better restart than last time by. We got pinned behind slower traffic on older tires this time. He's on even footing with everyone around him, but he's got Kyle Nadeau knocking on the door for that 4th spot. We'll see what happens here. Leaves a little bit of an opening on the bottom. Nadeau's looking to fill it coming off turn 2. He will do that. A nose inside. They're going to be side by side coming off of 4 down to the stripe. It'll be Nadeau getting the position for this lap as we officially cross the 1 halfway mark of tonight's event here in Thunder Valley. It's been thunder in more ways than one. Not only the engines roaring, but thunderous crashes into the wall and each other throughout the evening, but it's all in good fun and still some great racing to be had throughout the field. Bennett Allen able to wrestle that lead away from the 12. Now Gentry looking to hold off Silvers in the 69 truck. Mentioned Witt having a little bit of damage on the left rear of that truck, still hanging on to the 6th position. He's last car on the lead lap as we currently run. There's a few cars battling for that lucky dog position behind him, though. Currently top of the heap is Dusty Martin. See him 1 lap down, fighting Coro for that position, but currently has a healthy lead over the 91. The 91 still fighting some heavy right front damage on that race truck, and it looks like Dusty, most of the damage is pretty centered on the nose of that 35, so maybe a little better handling. The right front is definitely the last thing you want to have messed up at Bristol, and it looks like most of the damage is center to center left here on Dusty's number 35, so we'll see if he's able to hang on to that spot. Should we see another caution? We're only halfway through. I'm quite sure we'll see another caution. And currently Dusty looking at that lucky dog position if we do. Up here, we still got Nadeau working on Silvers for the 3rd spot. Hasn't been able to make the move yet. Both drivers carrying quite a bit of speed as the run develops. Nadeau has gotten a couple looks, gets within a half car length, but can't quite clear coming off the corner. The 69 is able to wrap that outside and just power off the corner and clear by about a car length before the next corner. On board with Nadeau as he looks to take the spot from the 69 of Silvers, both having to navigate lap traffic all the while. That'll be Zach Miller to the outside in the 38. Pretty extensive damage to his Toyota. It cost Silvers a little bit on exit, having to come down to avoid it. Looks like Nadeau has a pretty tight condition in that race truck coming off the corner. Having a hard time holding it down to the bottom of the racetrack, having to wait just a little bit too long to pick up the throttle, running that bottom line right on that yellow stripe. Kyle Nadeau, as we ride on board, currently has the fastest lap of the race, with the only driver yet to crack the 14-second mark in the field. Fastest lap so far tonight, a 14.97 to the next best 15.01 out of Bennett Allen, your current leader. Allen still extending that lead lap by lap. Was 1.5 seconds a couple laps ago. Now stretching it out pretty close to 2. Lap times are pretty comparable between himself and Gentry in second place. 15.75 last time by for Allen. 15.83 for Gentry. Nadeau runs a 15.81. Current running order: Bennett, Allen, Devin Gentry, Kyle Nadeau, Terry Silvers in fourth, with Bradley Murphy rounding out the top 5 in the number 18. Right now in the team standings, everybody chasing Great Lakes Racing. Great Lakes Racing. Look at how they're running tonight in just a moment. Showing that team roster. Nadeau and Murphy holding down third and fourth. Not quite as good a night for Miller and especially Bolton in the 00. Not a great welcome back here at Bristol for Bolton. Overall, not bad for these drivers. Currently will collect third and fourth, but right now, it's Bennett Allen and Devin Gentry looking to collect quite a bit of points with first and second running positions as it stands. Team points collect the top 2 finish positions for that team and average the points between them to come up with a total for the week. So 2 drivers. The top 2 drivers for each team are representative of what kind of points haul they will have post-race. Nadeau's looking to split that difference now because he puts the 12 with Gentry behind him, moving Nadeau up to the second position. Now working on lap traffic of Burchett in the 33 to the outside. Hold him up just for a moment, but back on the march on the long run for the 97. That gap is closing. We mentioned when Gentry was P2, the gap was 1.9 seconds, now closed down to 1.6. Nadeau chopping into that lead lap after lap. Lap traffic definitely playing a role because once they get green track, they are quite similar in their lap times. Now, it doesn't matter at all because we've got cars flipping. Patrick Coro and Crank Bell get together in spectacular fashion as the leaders just clear. Watching that black number 91 on the high lane, trying to see what happened. Bring out the caution. It looks like, oh, unfortunately, the 14 had lost it earlier in the corner, seemingly by himself. Coro, once again, we mentioned how hard the visibility is here at Bristol. If there's a slow car or a car spun on the exit of the corner, it's very hard to see once you're down in the corner. And once you're there, down in the corner, you're kind of committed. It's very hard to evade after the fact. As we see Bell absolutely getting annihilated. Go ahead and take a look back. See if we can figure out what happened with 14. Looked like a self-spin, just loose on entry. Lost the back end of the truck. Oh, and unfortunately didn't hold. Wasn't able to hold that truck there on the banking. Rolled back down into traffic. Missing the leaders by a very narrow margin. Pit stops underway. It's Nadeau and Allen trying to hang on to that first and second spot. Looks like the running order will maintain the same look as they come off pit lane. Tanner Wood actually looks like maybe gaining a spot. Nope, they're going to put him back behind the 18 of Murphy as they come off pit road. Like the damage on the left rear of that truck looking a lot better, so maybe a little bit better run this time. A little more speed out of that 88. Pretty good comeback run here for Tanner, as he's kind of carrying the flag for the whole Waffle Motorsports crew. Not looking fantastic for the other drivers involved. See Alex Finney out of the race in P17. Cameron out early. Down in scored P21 currently. So lone remaining driver here for Waffle Motorsports. Hold it down inside the top 5 so far, as we progress through caution number 9. Looking to take the green flag once again here on lap number 156. Sorry, 158. Clean start from Bennett Allen. It's going to be Gentry with that inside late advantage on Nadeau, but Nadeau full throttle on the outside, has a big moment. Gentry has to check up to avoid wrecking the 97. Good heads-up racing by all involved. 18 had to check up quite a bit as well. Everyone trying to get their wits back about them. I imagine Gentry not going to be too pleased with that remove by Nadeau. Kind of drove over his head a little bit in that corner. All three of these drivers kind of paid the price, as Allen able to check out to a 2.5 lead as all of this goes down. 12 still trying to find a rhythm as the Murphy goes by for the 3rd spot. Terry Silver's also advancing one more spot, passes Tanner Witt for the 5th position on track. Look, we did not have a lucky dog last time by. I think maybe a long enough green flag run that everyone who was 1 lap down may have gone 2 laps down. I think Dusty Martin got 1 lap back, so he is the only car currently 1 lap down. So should we see another caution, it'll be car number 35 getting that lucky dog free pass to get that lap back and get back on the lead lap, back in this competition, which hopefully he's able to do, because we know that 35 from earlier on, he's able to get the repairs he needs on this thing at a lot of speed in the early going. Still running inside the top 10, so not a terrible day at all, especially with a larger field tonight of 24 race cars. Being in the top third of the field, definitely nothing to be upset about in the grand scheme of things, being points racing. Heavier emphasis on points racing this year with the chase format rather than the former playoff format, which gave large points bonuses to the winners of each race. So each point does matter. Each spot matters for sure. It's 2 points per position as you go down through the field, up from just 1 point last season per position. So the stakes are a little larger if you have a bad day. But the good days, or even the okay days, can net you a lot more points if you hang in there, log laps, still finish decent. Because there's a lot of drivers still, a lot of positions out there to lose. You see Coro 3 laps down, Buckingham and Bauman both 6 laps down. Should Martin, if Martin parked it, he would lose quite a few additional positions. Even though there's already a few cars out of the race, he would stand to lose quite a few more. Right now, the field's starting to get a little bit spread out. This is the closest battle here on track at the moment. This is between the 18 of Murphy and the 12 of Gentry. Gentry starting to slowly reel that number 18 back in over the course of the long run. We saw the 12 just gain speed throughout the long run when he had the lead earlier on in the race. We're starting to see that long run speed come back and pay dividends here for the 12. As you see, Peasley goes for a bit of a half spin up to the racetrack. caution flag flies as wow. That was a close call for Gentry. Narrowly missing the 89, spun down on the bottom of the racetrack. Take a look at Bauman in the 89, see what happened. If it was just another case of getting loose on entry, maybe a little bit of help. Oh, is he just, unfortunately, we'll have another look at that from a rear view, but that maybe looked like he had some help from the 97 on the straightaway of all places, but we'll see if 89 came down a little bit, coming down off the corner. Front straightaway is banked, so it's very easy to come down the racetrack unintentionally. So we'll go ahead and change our cameras up here just a little bit and see if we can't figure out just what happened. Play this in slow motion. It looks like no, then it's a hard call there. I think the 89 had just started coming down. Rewind it just a little bit more to get an attitude on what these cars are doing. 89 still continuing up the racetrack, has it about even with the wall now. 97 still coming up a little bit. I'm going to say that's just a little bit, maybe the 97 expected the 89 to fade out to the wall just a little bit further. Misjudged it slightly, but that was enough to send the 89 headfirst into the outside safer barrier. And looks like that might be night done for Max Bauman. Wow, look at that evasion by the 18 as well. Let's go right along with Murphy and his view of this wreck. Narrowly missing, just brushing the side of the 89. He comes back down the racetrack. Turner Murphy, good heads up driving there, was able to make it by with just a scratch on the paint, but that's all fine and dandy here at Bristol. Back out front, it's still the 15, but guess who's back to his outside? It's the 97 of Kyle Nadeau, so we're going to have a heck of a battle on our hands once we get that green flag again. Deja vu, throwing it back to the beginning of the race. These two had excellent battles the first several runs. We'll see what they do this time. We'll get the green flag one more time at Bristol. Lap number 180 of 250 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. Massive launch there out of the 15. Battles for second now. We got Murphy and Nadeau going at it. Nadeau has it, and I think he's going to clear. I don't think his teammate's going to give him too much trouble, but he can't lay off too much, or the 12 is going to have that third position. Up the hill just a little bit for Gentry that time, but gets a good run on the 18 down into 3. Nadeau really just able to put the power down coming off the corner better than most drivers on the track. See, everyone else has to lift just a little bit to set themselves up for exit. The 97 so far has been class of the field at getting that thing hooked and rotated for the exit of the corner, and just able to stand on the gas and not hesitate. Silvers with some pretty good short run speed just behind them. He's currently running 5th, looking at 4th spot from Gentry if he can catch the number 12. Slowly catching these two as they do battle in front of him. But as we've seen time and time again tonight, passing is a whole nother thing entirely. Lap 185, 186, now 75 laps to go here at Bristol for the Sugar Maple Designs 250. Bennett Allen out to a commanding lead early. Let's see if Nadeau can flex that long run speed on that number 97 truck to close that gap throughout the course of the run. See, Dusty Martin, we mentioned he would have that lucky dog free pass next time, and he does. He's back on the lead lap, running 7th. Gentry still looking for that third position from Murphy. He's able to get the nose to the bumper, but unable to get position to the inside to try to make that pass and force Murphy to stay up the racetrack on entry. Looks like he barely gets a nose inside coming into the corner. Will Murphy be able to shut the door? He does coming off the corner, using that outside lane advantage, able to clear by half a car length. Now down the backstretch, these two still evenly spread out. Good pace between all three of them, running around 15.86. Actually, identical laps between Murphy and Gentry last time by 15.83 for both. Gentry with a little bump there to the back of the 18 says, hey, I'm here, trying to get in his head just a little bit, maybe get the 18 to make a mistake. So far, has not been able to coax a mistake out of Murphy. I fear taking that wide lane is going to open the door for the 69, who is slowly creeping his way in on this battle for third. That wide entry there could give the 69 an edge and maybe getting the position on Gentry if he's not careful. But he does have to find a way around the 18. Finally gets an advantage to the outside. Oh, very taps the wall. Almost gets to the right rear of the 18, but stays off him. Now it looks like Tanner Witt in the 88 also catching up to this battle. These two really holding things up in the remainder of the top 10. Working by lap traffic, the 91 1/4 to the outside. Kind of a train around the outside of lap traffic. We've got Miller, we've got Buckingham in the 39 as well. Bottom of the racetrack, these four, the 18, 12, 69, and 88. These are all for position 3rd through 6th. Crossing through just moments away from lap number 200. Closing in on 50 laps to go. The laps click by fast here at Bristol. Silver's watching on as the two do battle in front of him, looking for any kind of advantage he can get. Maybe get a nose inside of the 12, but I think he's kind of waiting on a mistake out of either one of these drivers before he pounces. Right there, both drivers up the racetrack. Thought about sticking it to the inside, wouldn't have anywhere to go. It's really tight off that corner. Now shifting to the outside as the 12 loses momentum and takes the inside lane. We'll see if he's able to make the pass on lap 203. That he does. Move Terry Silvers up to P4. Gentry, unfortunately, had to lift big time, and the 88 Witt also able to get by. Move Tanner Witt up to P5. Witt in 4th. Terry Silvers. Sorry, Witt in 5th. Terry Silvers up in 4th. Oh, and a big contact there for the outside wall for Silvers. Maybe a lapse in concentration there, something for the 69, but that's going to cost him. Now he opens the door for Witt to the inside. Three-way scrap for 4th place. We'll see who comes out on top right now. The advantage was Silvers, still is Silvers at the moment, but starting to show a little bit of weakness off the corners in that 69 truck. Closing at about a half car length is Witt coming off the corner, now wrapping the top side through 3 and 4, down to back to the bottom, getting that strong run out of the corner, closes a little bit more of that gap, gaining a little bit every time. Now dealing with lap traffic once again. Both these drivers, actually all 3 of these drivers during the course of this battle are catching Murphy in third, so this very well could be a 4-way battle once again in a short order. All 3 of these drivers, Silvers, Witt, Gentry, all were a 10th faster than Murphy the past 2 laps in a row, now even on this lap. All within 0.05 of a second. Witt with the nose to the inside, not going to be able to make it happen off this corner. It's going to be Silvers with the run, but that could change if they're able to catch Murphy. Up front, that lead is starting to diminish. You'll look at that gap up on the top left of your screen. 1.39 seconds for Nadeau. Had been creeping up on 2 seconds for a while. He's starting to reel back in the 15 of Allen. Very, very slowly, but surely. About half a tenth a lap. The 97 is making headway into the lead. Back for this battle now. Witt solidly to the inside of the 69. It's going to be a matter of where the 35 decides to go. He's going to use that 35 truck and Martin as a pick and move Tanner Witt up to P4. Witt now with the sight set on Murphy. He's been adopting a bit higher entry into the corner. We've seen that work all right on the long run, but that right rear tire can get punished if it's used a little bit too much. And right now, look at the advantage coming off the corner. Closes from 2 car lengths down to nearly a half, giving up that initial speed and then getting a huge run coming off the corner. All the way up top. Diamonds it out back to the bottom. You see closing in from 3 car lengths to 1 to half for that second spot. Long run is where this 88 seems to thrive, and he's making headway here in the late going at Bristol. Out front lead has stabilized at right around 1.3 seconds for Allen. Those two have been running almost identical lap times for the past 10 laps in a row. 16.25 for Allen, 16.23 for Nadeau. Witt gets those good runs, but just unable to do anything with it on entry of the corner. He's going to have to make it happen on exit to get a nose inside, but then will he have the handling to run that inside lane once he does get that position? It's a bit harder on the tires running that high lane. He does get a nose to the inside this time. We'll see where Buckingham in the 39 goes. Could use him as a pick. Right now the 39 kind of middle of both lanes. 18 will concede the spot as a single file out to get by the lap traffic. That's going to be Witt up to P3 now. See Gentry starting to enter the picture again. He passed Silvers for the 5th spot. Now he's got his sights set on the 18 of Murphy as well. Murphy in the 18's had pretty good pace all day, but just doesn't seem to have the long run pace of the rest of the top 5 cars. Seems to fall off right around right around that 60 to 70 lap mark under green flag racing. Still hold on admirably. It'll be a great day. It might even be a wash. Tanner Witt kind of throwing a wrench in the works for the two teams going at it for points on the top end of the leaderboard. We've got Allen and Gentry both on the same team, and we've got Nadeau and Murphy both on the same team of Great Lakes Racing, with Witt right in the middle of the mix. Riding on board with Gentry as he's looking to make the move on Murphy to the outside. He's got lap traffic to deal with in Miller on the outside. Kind of sets a pick, but great crossover coming off turn 4. He gets positioned to the inside. Gonna force him up the track just a little bit, get the runoff that he needs, and put Gentry up to P4. He clears Murphy for the spot. Lead stabilizing, and now Allen pulling away from Nadeau in that second spot. Gap had been 1.3 about 15 laps ago, now 1.6. Will be very close on top of the points, driver point standings coming out of Bristol, as Max Baumann no longer in the picture, with where he will likely finish down in 15th position. Battle now lies with Allen and Nadeau. Nadeau had an 8-point advantage coming into the race over Allen, but finishing where they are now, and considering the bonus points involved, it will be very close. Nadeau might be able to hold a 1 or 2 point advantage, but it will be very close as we exit Bristol. Taking a look down through the top 5 in the running order. Coincidentally, the only 5 cars left on the lead lap are the top 5 cars. Allen with a solid day overall. Hasn't had too much trouble. Been fighting for the lead the whole time, or in possession of the lead for most of the race. Nadeau, great start to the race. Led quite a few laps in the opening segments. Unfortunately, got mired back in traffic and was a lap down at one point. Raced his way back onto the lead lap. Did not rely on the caution to get the lap back. Now finds himself running second here with 10 to go. Tanner Witt up 9 spots from his qualifying position in 12th. Finds himself inside the top 3 for a great run out of the driver who's seen a very long streak of bad luck through the first 4 races of the season, looking to finally make an impact on those point standings. Looks like he's going to do just that here for Waffle Motorsports tonight, carrying the banner alone as the other two drivers for Waffle have retired for the evening. I would say running 4th and 5th. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out at the moment because they're back battling for it again as Murphy takes the spot away from Gentry. Murphy's had really solid pace all day. We saw him get a little bit mired back in the field early on. A couple restarts where he had problems with lap traffic and those on slower or older tires staying out in the lead. Got pinned to the outside a couple times. Was passed and dropped back to the tail end of the top 10 on an occasion or two, but now solidly within the top 5, fighting for that 4th spot. We'll see if we can hang on to it with 5 to go. Devin Gentry has been up front all day, qualified P3, led some laps here today in the Sugar Maple Designs Ford F-150. Has had plenty of airtime in the self-sponsored race. Sugar Maple Designs sponsoring tonight's Sugar Maple Designs 250 at Bristol. Once again, we encourage you to go ahead and check out sugarmapleservices.com. So they've got some new merch up on the store as well, kind of tied together with his Red Brush HQ you'll see on the alternating weeks on this truck. It does a lot of home improvement services, baths, showers, contractor work in the north central Indiana area. So if you have need of that, go ahead and check him out, sugarmapleservices.com. Bennett Allen shows the way one more time. White flag is out in Thunder Valley, and it's going to be driver number 15 clinching his 3rd win of the season. We thought it would be closer at the end as Nadeau had speed early on, but it's Bennett Allen figuring it out and getting it done at Bristol. Congratulatory drive-by from Nadeau. Witt's going to bring it home in that top 3 as well as the 15 gets the party started on the front stretch. Rest of your top 5, Gentry in 5th, Silvers 6th, Kenny Reel in P7, Dusty Martin P8, Greg Burchett, after a day full of adversity, comes home inside the top 10 at 33. Dalton Buckingham also scoring a top 10, running 11 laps down at the end of the race, but that will finish the top 10 in the running order. It was a struggle for a lot of drivers tonight here at Bristol, facing handling issues they probably hadn't expected, and a bit of a unexpected result for pretty much everyone involved as to how these trucks were going to handle compared to how they have historically. As it looks like Bennett's going to go ahead and park it up on top of the Food City Best Pro Shops victory lane, which we forgot to take the banner down. Should probably be the Sugar Maple Services victory lane. In just a moment, we'll go ahead and get those results. But first, a quick race rundown. Taking a look at that screen, 127 laps led. That will be the most laps led for the evening for Bennett Allen. He will claim the bonus points for that accomplishment. The fastest lap still held on by Kyle Nadeau, so he'll see the bonus point for that as well. Cautions, we had 10 for a total of 40 laps, so quite a few cautions at Bristol. That's to be expected, though. Green flag lead changes weren't a whole lot of lead changes. 6 different leaders, however, in total. Not all under the green flag. But Terry Silvers was a hard charger for the day, gaining 15 positions on the day. So great racing all around. Driver's going to be looking to recover at Atlanta next week, but we'll go ahead and get some interviews from our top finishers this week. Starting off with a driver who has turned his luck around. And that'll be driver number 88 after a struggle. Probably the worst luck in the league. Definitely did not have a horseshoe where the sun didn't shine like seven-time champion Jimmy Johnson has said to for the first 4 races of the season, but turned the luck around for Bristol. Had a bit of a struggle. It got involved in got some wreck damage throughout the mid-course of the race, but we were able to drive your back. Stay on the lead lap and drive your way back inside the top 5 and bring it home 3rd place. So how you feeling after that run?
I'm just glad that I'm able to hear your voice in the broadcast booth after the race.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that. I had not a pretty eventful race. I spun out a few times. Probably didn't pit correctly a few times, so probably gonna get that EOL next week. But it was nice to finally finish the race, not get totally taken out, and race some of these guys.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a reversal of luck in probably the most unexpected of places. Did you have Bristol on your bingo card of places to turn it around?
Well, I thought I've ran some leagues and I've ran here before and I've done well, and then I got to qualifying and practice and I was not fast at all, and I told my teammates Alex and Cameron, I was like, well, maybe I'll have race pace, and had a little bit maybe there at the end and was able to drive by some of those guys and get a podium.
For sure. Well, you got the building block in place. You got the first step. Now we just got to get the team situation figured out and get all 3 of you on the same page as far as that goes, and having the same amount of luck in the same race. Where it seems like you get one driver that hangs on to have a decent finish each week, but it's hard getting everybody on the same page. So that'll be probably the next step in the evolution here for Waffle.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like maybe Alex and Cameron took my bad luck this week, and I was able to take maybe Alex and Cameron's good luck, or at least specifically Alex's, and get a good finish. So maybe I can keep that for a little bit, but we'll try to get those guys up here.
For sure. Well, we're heading away from the high banks of Bristol and the short track action. We're going, to another action-packed track, but a little bit on the larger side. So we'll be at Echo Park next week. How you feeling about your chances in Atlanta?
It's a super speedway, mini super speedway. So it's gonna be just as hectic as any other Talladega, Daytona, just on a little bit smaller scale. But maybe I'll say it's the Bristol of super speedways. How about that? But yeah. So, but yeah, it'll be probably a crapshoot to be honest. But if like tonight and any other speedway, if you can just keep it clean and be there at the end, you have a shot. So that's probably going to be the main goal there.
Well, I like it. There's a game plan in place. You got momentum to carry forward to next week, and we'll hopefully maybe see you here in the broadcast booth for another interview next time.
Yeah. Hopefully, I like this. I like talking to you here more.
Indeed, we like talking to everyone on good standings, not when they're angry about different various things. But
yeah, happy this week. Happy this week.
Well, looking to carry those happy thoughts and good finishing results forward. Finishing P3 here tonight in Thunder Valley. Tanner Witt finishes 3rd. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up on the interview docket is Mr. Kyle Nadeau, driving for Great Lakes Racing. That number 97 has been all over the running order tonight, but got it back on the lead lap, back toward the top. Finishes 2nd, just one shy of where he probably wants it, but overall I think you can hang your hat on that night as a success, considering you were 1 lap down not too long ago. So how you feeling after that comeback there, Kyle?
Wore out. Holy. That was a race and a half for me. Yeah, that I don't really know what happened. I think I just kind of in the middle of a 3 wide. I don't even know who it was on the bottom. It was Kenny on the outside and just kind of ran out of room a little bit, and Yeah, got put a lap down, dropped back to 5th in line. I had to make my way back through that. And then on that ensuing caution, I got a freaking pit road speeding penalty. Had to go to the back for that, race back through. And yeah, it was a lot tonight. I don't think I've ever had that eventful of a Bristol race and still come back and finish second and have a lot of green flag racing. That was good. I got to give kudos to these guys. That was awesome racing all over the track.
Yeah, a few clustered cautions here and there, and it's Bristol, so once it kicks off, it's really hard to stay out of the wrecks because you're committed to the corner, and it's hard to see in front of you because you're looking out the top of the windshield instead of the side, so everything just kind of sneaks up on you. But we saw a couple close calls between yourself and several other drivers throughout the top 5. Mere inches separated a lot of the leaders from disaster. Do you have any especially pucker-worthy moments tonight?
Spinning out and not clobbering the wall like that. And then, oh yeah, there was one where Ben and I were fighting for the lead, and Crank and another guy wrecked going into 3, and we had to bounce down to the apron. Other than that, I think it was relatively decent, kind of around me. A couple the wall taps, and I think I actually bent something towards the end of the race with about 15 to go, and it just kind of went down, not downhill from there, but wore out the right front, and I had nothing for Bennett. We kind of evened out on tires, and that's really all I had.
Yeah, we thought maybe you'd have the long run speed advantage, but I think he just had enough clear track to kind of experiment and log lap times and see what was working, that he was able to figure it out before the end. And unfortunately, given you spent most of your time fighting your way through the pack, that midfield especially got a little bit hairy at times because you had 2 and 3 wide battles in the midfield, and then you had lap traffic running around the top side to deal with as well. Just he had more time to experiment and get things I guess set up for the end of the race. But overall, like we said, great recovery. It's going to be interesting to see where the points shake out because you got some bonus points in there because you led a few laps. And you also had the fastest lap, so there's another bonus point as well. But he's going to get lap led and then most laps led, so he'll have a couple more. So it's going to be interesting to see where it shakes out. I think you might still be hanging on to it by a hair coming out of Bristol, but the battle for the top spot definitely tightened up in the point standings.
Man, all about putting on a show.
That you did, indeed. We saw that number 97 putting down hot lap after hot lap, tearing through the field. Probably has the most passes on the night. I wish we had that stat. That would be fantastic, but I am fairly confident that you were able to snag that one tonight, but unfortunately that one doesn't pay bonus points.
I mean, if I can learn to stay up front and not put myself on the back foot so many times, then, maybe I'll beat Bennett one of these times.
Well, you definitely had the pace to do it, just didn't quite have the track position for that last run. Once you got that lead, out to a second and a half, it just kind of stabilized and didn't budge from there, but it would have been quite a battle, I think, if you're able to be there initially on that restart. But he fires off on those restarts pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's that turbo boost, and he's just on.
Yeah, we need to double check that truck for post race and make sure he doesn't have one of those rear turbo setups that we see on pickup trucks nowadays. But yeah, fantastic racing tonight, Kyle. Great comeback effort, and good to see you guys come home with a pretty good points day. Not only for yourself, but you got Bradley in there in fourth, so it'll be a great day for Great Lakes Racing as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all about getting that all those points towards the end there. And I want to give a shout out to you, Adam, for doing the broadcast, and the Boom Tube for broadcasting us. I want to say hello to and I love you to my fiance Chantel. Thank you for supporting me with this. I want to say hi to my parents. Thank you, and I love you guys, and thank you for supporting me. Everybody out there for watching us and giving us a bit of a platform to display our talents, and everybody for racing clean, like 10 cautions at 250 laps. That's for Bristol. That's something to hang your hat on and be
full
proud.
length nationwide race, and 10 cautions. That's right on what I'd expect from the professional drivers, and last couple seasons probably even more. But great racing all through the field. You're absolutely right about that, Kyle.
Well, it was just one of the best Bristol races I've been a part of. But I'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And where are we going next, Atlanta?
We are going to Atlanta next week, so we'll see you for another crapshoot of a race that who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be action all the way through, though, so hope to see everyone back for that one.
Right. I prefer Old Atlanta, but yeah, I guess we'll go into research plate racing.
We are once again. We'll see you in Atlanta next week, Kyle. Congrats on P2, and thanks for the time.
Thanks. See you next week.
All right. All right, moved myself by accident to the wrong room, but we got it figured out. On top of the heap, we weren't sure how that one was going to play out. There's quite a few drivers with pace tonight, but the number 15 put it on top and held it there for the rest of the race. We thought maybe Kyle was going to have the long run speed after seeing how the first couple runs of the race shook out, but you were able to figure it out towards the end there. Once you got that initial jump on the restart, you never looked back. Take us through your race. We know we saw you kept it toward the front. A couple guys struggled keeping that track position, but you're able to keep that number 15 high and tight and up inside the top 5 for most of that race.
I mean, it felt like a long race to me. I mean, 250 laps around here seems like it's, really short. I mean, it's only half of the Cup distance, but man, that felt like it took forever. Early in the run, I was trying to figure out how to pass Kyle. I realized that with the track getting cleaned up after our pace lap. So if you watch the beginning of like the race, the track was rubbered in bottom to middle. And then as we ran our 3 pace laps with the new dynamic track, we picked up the rubber on the bottom because most of the cars were splitting it. So a lot of the cars on the pace laps were running the very top, and then everyone else was on the very bottom. So the middle lane was rubbered in, and then the bottom wasn't. So the bottom was clean and it had grip. And so I couldn't pass on the top because like I would get the run, but then I had nowhere to go with it. And so for the first run, I was trying to figure out where to go. Like, how should I pass Kyle? I don't want to move him because it's way too early for that. A couple times I accidentally got into him, but it didn't affect his car or his truck that much. And then as the yellows played out and pit stops, I spun, I think going into 3 and 4, and no yellow came. So I spun all the way out. No yellow came, so I had to stay in front of the leaders, which somehow I did. I was like a 6-second gap to the leaders. And I clawed my way back in the top 10, and then got another yellow. And then I had to, maneuver my way back up front. And eventually, by the time I got up front, Kyle got back up front. And that time I had the upper hand on the restarts. And so after a couple more restarts, I figured out that I could just play a little bit of games with them, go a little bit early, go a little bit late. And then I'd put like a second gap on them going into 3 and 4. And then I just rode the bottom. Most of the guys were running middle to the top. So that was getting heated up and rubbered in. And I think it was like me, Kyle, and like Terry were all running the bottom, where you're supposed to run it. The goal is to put your left sides kind of right on the yellow line. So I was doing my best to either back up my corner or just try to make sure I got my left sides and then roll center all the way through the corner, then hammer down once I got to center. And it worked out pretty great. I mean, my right front was cooked by the end, but I was able to get a gap, maintain a gap. With most of the lap cars running middle of the top, it was pretty easy to maneuver around them. The only sucky part was I'd lose a run because I'd meet them right on the exit of the corner, and that happened like 80% of the time. So that was a little bit of annoying. I had a couple run-ins with the lap cars. I accidentally sent the 5 because I was going to try to split it 3 wide because I was maintaining the gap with Kyle before that last yellow, and like he was like right in the middle of the racetrack and then started going to the bottom right as I was looking to pass him on the bottom. And so I somehow saved that, and then had a run in with Dusty twice. First time I got behind him, he slowed me up middle of the corner. Like he felt like he blocked me. And then the second time, he came off the wall coming off the corner, so he bumped doors. And the third time, like we met on that corner exit. Like he was so slow center, and then like gassed it up on exit, and so we met on corner exit. Then I got behind him, and right before I dived into the corner, he like slammed on the brakes in front of me, which I didn't appreciate. But after that, I was just trying to lock in, maintain the gap with Kyle, and the bottom never really heated up as much as I thought it was. So it was good to be able to maintain it. With about 10 to go, I tried running the top, and it worked for about 2 laps. Went from like 1.7, like 1.6, 1.7 seconds ahead to 2. And then I broke the cushion, which if you look on the broadcast, there's this like dark gray part right next to the wall, and that has no grip like whatsoever. It will like just push. And so I got into that, mess, and I lost a couple more tenths on him. But overall, it was a good race. 10 cautions is pretty respectable for 250 laps. I feel like in iRacing. So a couple, 40 to 50 lap runs was nice. I wish we could cut that caution amount in half. I feel like it was possible, but like I said, overall good race. It was really competitive today compared to New Hampshire last week. There's no funny trick I could play to gain 2/10 a corner here. So it was a lot of fun to battle with Kyle and everyone else, and I fought adversity and still won somehow. So hopefully we can cut that points gap down a good bit.
Yeah, I think it'll be really close. Like I was just telling Kyle, I think it'll be really tight, maybe 1 or 2 points coming out of here. It'll be interesting to see who's got that. Of course, we'll get that updated tonight, hopefully before too long after the race. But yeah, overall, great run, like you're saying. I think it's interesting hearing the track details and how the runs or how the lines and the grooves are developing, especially under caution where rubber would get picked up and things like that. So definitely something we haven't heard out of other drivers. So you have to wonder, maybe that's a little bit of an advantage. You might not have had, a definitive trick to go to as far as lines or anything like, actual race lines on the track goes, but paying attention to little details like that as iRacing and staying up to date on those things that iRacing brings out, as they develop dynamic track and start to bring it back or reintroduce it to the oval side of things, I think is definitely going to pay dividends for you. But yeah, have you turned your attention now? I got the stream up here in Discord. Got your diecast for the week, and I have to admit I'm rather jealous of what you're getting this time. It is
heck yeah.
the number 33 Monaco Diamond Rio 2003, I believe, Chevy Silverado that I believe would have been raced at Daytona. So very cool paint scheme indeed. It's got the whole album cover on the bed of the truck. I'm admittedly a little bit jealous there, as I tend to be a bit of a Diamond Rio fan. I'm all about the 90s country, so very cool prize there to add to the collection. And thanks again to Devin and Sugar Maple Designs for sponsoring these prizes and sponsoring the race this week as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to get diecast. I kind of feel bad a little bit taking these from people. Well, those away to other people just so it's fair. I know it is fair because I'm winning, but I feel like other people should have a chance of getting those. But I mean, it's cool that we have sponsors like Devin that give us that cool prizes like that for each race. But adding on to it, your point about the dynamic track. So the update was last week, and they added where we pick up rubber either on like when you're not pushing that hard or under yellow. And so you can clean up the bottom, middle, or top line depending where the rubber is laid down, but you pick up that rubber, if you get what I'm saying. So like it's on your tires. And so the whole thing, like people used to say like years ago in iRacing, like, oh, scrubbing your tires doesn't work. Now it does. Like you need to clean up your tires before the restart like they do in real life, which is a crazy detail to add in my eye, like in my eyes. Like that's so cool,
Mm-hmm.
And so when I spun is because I didn't clean off my rear tires before the restart. That's why I spun, and it caught me off guard.
I think a lot of drivers out there will probably be taking notes after this week. Now that that's going to be better known moving forward. I happened to notice as we were doing that. I thought it was a little bit odd that you were weaving because it's not really helpful as far as the heat factor goes in the tires. But as you mentioned, having it introduced that element to dynamic track into the tires as well plays a bigger part now. So that does explain that for anyone who happened to be watching at home and picked up on that detail.
Yeah, it's so cool. The newer tire model for the trucks, you do get a little bit of heat in your tires on cold tires when you scrub them. Just like any tire in iRacing, like somebody's going to figure out that they can warm up their tires better than everybody else. So the amount it warms up is very little, but you'll notice a little bit of a difference if you fire off on like really cold tires versus not. Just the hardest part is getting your rear tires warmed up. You might warm up your fronts really good, but your rear tires are still going to be ice cold. And so you have to like almost be borderline spinning the truck out to get the rear tires to spin, which I don't like doing. So I just like get my fronts warm, so at least I have front grip. The rear grip will come later, but the front grip's nice too.
Definitely had everyone on a bit of a knife edge throughout some parts of the evening. That's what we saw cause a lot of those early cautions, is just self spins, people maybe not getting enough heat in those rears for the restarts and send it too deep down into the corner, and you just see them lose the back end and end up kind of going in a four-wheel slide up toward the fence. And once you're up, once you kick the back end out and you drift up into the marbles, it's kind of over from that point.
Yep. But like I said, overall good race for everybody. I'm really proud. Not excited for Atlanta next week. I don't like super speedways, so I'm scared.
Well, I think you and everyone else is a little bit scared, but you definitely put yourself in a pretty good position with back-to-back wins here to survive in the point standing should next week not go favorably. So good job on the resurgence through the point standings. It's good to see the 15 back on. Back in competition for that top spot. Not quite sure if it is the top spot yet. Again, we'll figure that out later tonight. But overall, great run today, and great paying attention to detail and everything like that. I think that probably even those little details that you mentioned with the track added up throughout the course of the race. I think maybe some little tidbits of knowledge that other people weren't privy to that eventually gave you the edge. It might not have been a huge edge, but it was enough to bring home the victory. So congrats on that, and thank you to everyone out there tuning in every week here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We've got a lot of people out there cheering Devin on, cheering Dusty on, and see a couple of the THR guys in here as well. Thanks to everyone for showing up and showing out for your favorite drivers. And one of these days we'll get one of them to beat Bennett. But this week is not that week, so you have to tune in next week to figure out if we can unseat him next time. So Bennett, thanks for the time, and congrats on the win here at Bristol.
Yep, thanks, man.
All right, that's going to do it for our Victory Lane interview. Once again, Bennett Allen comes out on top in the number 15 for Turned Around Turbos. It was a great day for that team overall, with Devin Gentry also finishing inside the top 5 in that 5th position. So an overall great race from Bristol. Some great driving put on by everybody. Some unique challenges and new challenges, as we figured out by some of those details that Bennett shared with us about the changes to the track dynamics and the tires and things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting to see how those affect the racing going forward, because not only is that going to affect this track, it's going to affect them all as we go forward in the season. So be looking for that to play a bit of a difference as well, and it'll be more things for us to keep an eye on here on the broadcast. But next week, Echo Park Speedway, that's Atlanta Motor Speedway, for those of you who have been watching NASCAR for a long time and don't really care for the new name. I might be in that camp with you. But overall, I think it's going to be a great race next week as well. Expect to see kind of racing like Michigan, a bit of a drafting track, kind of a half drafting track. Like, you need a little bit of help to make passes, but there can be single car breakouts here and there. So good action to look forward to then, and probably a few more cautions if I had to guess. But that's half the fun, and we had a lot of fun here with the broadcast tonight in Bristol for the Thursday Night Nitro Series. Once again for the Sugar Maple Designs 250. As always, I've been Adam LeVox here, bringing you the live action from the Boom Tube, and we hope to see you all in Atlanta next week. And this is us signing off for tonight. We'll see you all next time.